Thank you very much for being here. It's my pleasure to be here at Tesol Columbia. My name is Tesol. I don't need to say anything because this lovely video took care of everything. So I want to jump right in, and today we're just going to talk about basically 21st century skills, cultural awareness and CLIL, and some practical ways of how we can include it in our lessons. So what I want to do, I don't want to stand up here and talk for 30 minutes. I'm a little lazy. I like to hear your opinion. Now, I know this is a very big audience, so hopefully, you can shout out some of your ideas. But what are some words or phrases that come to mind when you think of 21st century? Go. I'm hearing some technology, creativity, collaborate. Okay, you guys are like going where, but think just in general, 21st century. Don't think about education necessarily. Soft skills. Robots, automation. Take a look at the visual aid I'm giving you here. Globalization. This is a word I definitely was looking for. Now in the 21st century, we are more interconnected than we have ever been before. And we're going to talk about how this has impacted the world of EFL. But before we do that, I want to take it back a few decades. 1991. It's a big year for many of us. Maybe some of you actually weren't born yet. But I remember 1991. It was a great year. The release of Nevermind by Nirvana. This changed, pop rock and grunge exponentially, Terminator 2. This was like one of the first movies that was more popular than the original. The second was more popular than the original. But okay, let's move away from entertainment. We saw the launch of a Hubble Space Telescope. So this has changed, science and space exploration incredibly. And if we go into politics, we saw the fall of the USSR. We saw the end of the Gulf, unfortunately the first Gulf War. So this was a big year. A lot of things happened. But actually I Googled, big things in 1991. But in 1991, something really big happened that probably most of you don't know about. Now, I'm from the United States, born and raised. My parents are Greek, of course. But so I grew up in the U.S. And something happened in the U.S. that was pretty amazing. For the first time ever, the United States spent more money on ICT than on basically industrial goods, manufacturing. So like things like making engines and cars and agriculture, construction. This was exceeded by things like computers, telephones, servers, right? So since 1991, every year, more and more and more and more money has been spent on basically moving bits of information around than on, basically industrial age economy. So this has had a huge impact, actually, and this is what some refer to as the beginning of the knowledge age economy, right? So before this, we were in the industrial age economy, and it's had quite an impact on, on life in general, but also in education. And it was pretty big, and it's pretty much as big as it was 350 years ago when we switched from agrarian society to industrial society, but it's having different impacts. Let's take a look how. So, we nailed it on the head. Era of globalization. It has impacted things such as economics, science, society, how we interact, flow of information, and of course in our context, education. And in a way, the responsibility to help our students communicate successfully with members of other societies, it belongs to the education system of a country, and particularly foreign language teachers like yourself. So globalization has had a huge impact on all of these things. It's been accelerated, of course, by ICT, as it has been used extensively for communication, particularly in developed countries. What has the result been? More multilingualism, more than ever before, more diversity of thoughts and in cultural norms, and in the end, more intercultural communication. This is where you guys come in. So I'm going to start this talk off by just going over what 21st century skills are and the origins of them. So there was this group called the Partnership for 21st Century Education in the United States. They got together. It was basically teachers from both the private and public sector, Department of Education representatives, educational experts, business leaders, for example. They got together and they wanted to define the skills and knowledge that students needed to have in order to be successful in work, and in life, and in academia. So, it's a set of abilities that they need to have, and it includes a blend of content, specific knowledge and skills, expertise, and literacy. And it's developed mainly through social and emotional learning. So what is social and emotional learning? It's a process where students acquire and they effectively apply knowledge, attitudes, and skills in order to understand and manage both their emotion and others, to set and achieve positive goals, to feel and show empathy for others, to establish and maintain positive relationships, and to make responsible decisions. It's mainly achieved through the use of technology, actually. So let's take a look now at these 21st century skills that this Partnership for 21st Century Skills, otherwise referred to as P21. Let's go through the set. This is the full list here. So we have collaboration and teamwork, creativity and imagination, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, flexibility and adaptability, global and cultural awareness, which we will touch upon shortly, information literacy, leadership, citizenship, oral and written communication skills, social responsibility and ethics, and technology literacy and initiative. Okay, sounds like quite a lot, but let's take a look at, we'll go through them in more detail shortly. But they decided that the aims and objectives of these 21st century skills is that basically we needed to develop students that were more engaged in the learning process. Okay, so classes need to be more learner-centered. And graduates need to be better prepared to succeed in today's, and most importantly, tomorrow's global economy. Well, why? According to the US Secretary of Labor, the average person will change their jobs 9 times by the time they turn 32. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I'm 34, and I can say when I first started my first job at 14 years old at Burger King. All right, and since then I have reached that number. Okay, so I don't know, have any of you have a similar thing? Have any of you changed jobs this many times? Yeah, right? And I think we'll see that happening more and more with the newer generations. So let's take a look at a few more stunning facts and figures with this quick little video I found.